Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duck Bricks. I'm Chris, and today we received a pretty interesting piece of LEGO news, or I guess a pretty interesting piece of retroactive LEGO news. As you can tell from the title, LEGO has officially covered a TVMA series. Now, does this mean that LEGO Game of Thrones, LEGO Breaking Bad, and more could be coming? Well, it's not quite as simple as that, but let me explain. So a few months ago, LEGO launched the Marvel Superheroes Collectible Minifigure Series 2, focusing on a lot of the MCU projects, especially with the Disney Plus TV shows. We got stuff like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Echo. Well, we didn't really know a ton about Echo leading up to its release. There's been a ton of development churn regarding the project itself. It was delayed by several months. In fact, it was supposed to already be out by the time the minifigure was out, and now it's coming out next January. But most importantly, just today we received our first trailer for Marvel Studios' Echo, where at the end of the trailer they revealed that it is Marvel Studios' first TVMA project, which is very, very interesting and monumental for a few reasons. So again, first of all, the obvious answer is to say, well, LEGO has just officially adapted a TVMA property. What could be next? But the answer is a little bit more complicated. You see, if you've been following the Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit and a lot of the leaks surrounding this particular show, and I'm not going to spoil anything, essentially what's been going on is that I don't think it's news to anyone that Marvel and the MCU in particular have been going through a lot of ups and downs recently, and honestly, more downs than ups. While there have been some recent successful projects, a lot of the time Marvel has been really trying to pivot towards drawing new audience members in and trying to control the output of content that they're putting out. And especially around the Echo Show, there was a lot of discussion as to how good the show actually was. With all of the episodes releasing all at one time and the show being TVMA, this feels like a pretty last-minute production switch to potentially draw more eyes to Echo and make it a little bit more interesting and unique as a standalone MCU property, given that I'm pretty sure that during the development of the show, it was not initially intended to be TVMA, but they later on changed it in the edit. Now, my good friend Jonathan, aka Mini Superheroes Today, is going to be publishing a video later today, if he hasn't already, detailing the full-on development timeline of this MCU project. I'm sure that he knows a lot more about the development of it than I do, but I think we're agreeing on basically the same theory that this was something that LEGO was told would not be a TVMA show. They were told it would be just a standard MCU Marvel show, but then later on, Marvel kind of decided to change their mind, switch tracks, but by then it was too late because LEGO had already released the figures. So it's a very interesting case of LEGO making something and releasing it off of a property that later became TVMA, or I guess in movie language, rated R, and I don't really think that there has been any other example in LEGO's history that they've ever done something like this. Now, LEGO has flirted with the idea of making products based off of popular R-rated movies in the past, but they've never done so explicitly. Back when the Deadpool movies were releasing, LEGO would kind of sneak a Deadpool minifigure as a Comic-Con exclusive around those times. Obviously, not themed around the Deadpool movie, but they were just, oh, we decided to make a Deadpool movie at the peak of his popularity, or they decided to make a LEGO Deadpool minifigure at the peak of his popularity. That's something where LEGO will kind of bend the rules a little bit just to get around not officially having to make products off of an R-rated movie. When the Suicide Squad movie was coming out, which was not rated R, LEGO still decided to include comic-based Suicide Squad minifigures in their 2016 sets, like Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, etc., just because the movie itself was coming out and they were hoping the popularity of the movie would encourage people to buy their Batman-focused sets based on comic books. And despite the fact that even though Suicide Squad was just a PG-13 rated movie, they did not want to include the word suicide in a LEGO product, so they decided to just include the members of the team in their comic forms in the existing sets coming out that year. So there is precedent for LEGO covering somewhat mature superhero-related themes, but this is the first time they've explicitly covered something branded, officially branded, as a TVMA property, which is really interesting to me. We actually explicitly know that LEGO will go out of their way to not produce sets based off of rated R movies. Initially, back in 2016, when the first Deadpool movie was coming out, LEGO was working on a set directly based off of the movie. But as soon as they found out it was rated R, they canceled the set and swapped it out for a Doctor Strange focused set instead, which means that if LEGO is given enough advance notice, they will change their plans and not include the rated R thing, which I find to be very interesting. Now, funnily enough, on that same point, the 2019 Welcome to Apocalypseburg LEGO Movie 2 set also included a minifigure of Harley Quinn directly based off of the Suicide Squad movie, although that one, the designers actually stated, was a special case because the set was more oriented towards adults, and they never explicitly call it out as the word Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. It just featured Apocalypseburg Harley Quinn. So they've been kind of trying to sneak in stuff like that into sets, but again, this is the first time it's happened explicitly. And if you take a look back down LEGO's back catalog of covering mature properties, obviously if you go all the way back to the inception of LEGO, there's a lot of wild stuff they were doing back then. They were doing LEGO wooden guns, they were doing LEGO cigarette-related products. I mean, it was a wild time back in the 1940s, 50s. But in today's modern era, LEGO does cover a lot of seemingly mature themes, but nothing that is explicitly rated R, and nothing that is TVMA. I would say the closest they've gotten is with James Bond. They made a set, the Aston Martin and Speed Champions, off of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies, which are PG-13. They also do LEGO Simpsons, which I guess is a kind of gray line between whether or not it's appropriate for kids or not. They've done stuff like LEGO Mission Impossible, which also is PG-13, not rated R, but they've been pushing the boundaries over the years for different types of properties that kind of skew the line between what is and isn't adult, but they've never officially crossed the line until today. Unfortunately, I don't necessarily think that this means that LEGO will now start going full force and doing adult-oriented themes. As much as I would love to see LEGO House of the Dragon or even LEGO Succession, I don't think they would ever touch that because that type of subject material is not really suitable for the LEGO brand, which they've historically been, even though they're doing the 18+ adults icons line, mostly orienting their products towards kids and orienting the 18+ adults line towards nostalgia rather than actual adult properties, even though there is the potential to do that. Now, will Echo actually change how LEGO stands as a company going forwards now that they've actually officially covered something rated TVMA? It's really hard to say. I genuinely don't know. If I had to guess, I don't think so. LEGO is pretty slow to react to things, and I would imagine that this is something that kind of caught them maybe a little bit by surprise, or maybe not by surprise, but by the time that Disney told them it was going to be TVMA, I'm pretty sure it was already in production and there was nothing they could do. So if I had to guess, nothing substantial will change, but it is still an interesting thought experiment of, now that LEGO has covered a TVMA project officially, has this opened the floodgates to mature rated LEGO properties? Honestly, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see in the next coming years. This video was really just made to cover this pretty interesting event in LEGO's history, even if it was by mistake or something that was not supposed to be MA and then changed to MA later on. It's still really cool that LEGO has actually officially adapted something TVMA, and that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. And with that, we've summed up this pretty interesting LEGO news video. I don't do a lot of reactionary news videos, but this one I found interesting enough to record a little bit about it and share it with all of you. I've actually pushed back the video that was scheduled to be released today for a later time because that's another huge video, very monumental one for the channel, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna put this out first because the news literally came out today and it's very interesting, and then we'll cover that interesting stuff later on that isn't so time sensitive. For the Bionicle fans, you probably know what that one is. But that about sums up this video talking about LEGO's switch over to actually producing something based on the TVMA property. Again, don't think it affects things that much, but it's still a very interesting thought experiment. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon, and bye for now.